Q&A time. Awesome. Something I love doing, and it almost feels to me like I give back to the shooting community, is answering some of your questions. Now, as you know, I do my best to engage with you guys in the comments in the day or two after the videos come out. So if you ever want to leave a comment on a video, I always do my best to answer those. But today specifically, we're focusing on the Q&A session that I had on my Instagram. Now, if you're not following me on Instagram, that would be wunderbar. So impact shooting without the G on the end. And every now and again, I'll do these Q&As, and sometimes I'll actually answer them on Instagram. But this time I was like, I'm going to actually do a video on these. So without further ado, I haven't read any of your questions except one, which came from my good friend Ruan. Why is your gun so groot?
Why is your aura so groot?
Because this is my dance horror.
Which is a little bit of an inside joke if you're a South African with, like, you know, a specific musician here, but it was quite fun. So I answered him and I said, because it's my dance guns. Anyway, as you can see, there is pages and pages and pages of questions. So without further ado, I'm going to just jump straight into these. No prep. This is 100% on the fly. 1% gunning. By the way, thank you, Guy. You seem to share a lot of my stuff and you're always active on my social media. So I appreciate you a lot, man. Thank you very much. When is MDT going to release those dampeners? So if you guys don't know what the dampeners are he's referring to, I'll show you a clip here of me shooting the new ACC Elite. And it actually has these special dampeners in the back of the buttstock. And that helps control vibrations as the rifle recoils so that you can better, you know, follow through on target. I'm not sure when they're going to release those. And then your second part of the question was, how's the editor search going? Honestly, it started off well, and then it sort of got derailed with just me being too busy, just me being me and a bit of a control freak. And I just sort of fell back into our old ways where I do everything. Lightweight hunting tripod, please. So lightweight hunting tripod I would recommend is this Ridgeview Carbon from Vortex. That's actually the one you guys are standing on at the moment. It's rock steady because you haven't moved. Well, obviously it won't move, but I have actually harvested quite a few animals shooting from this specific tripod. You know, if I've got the Radian, let me show you guys this. This is the Radian Carbon with the ball head. There's another camera on here, and I'm sporting the Coltac tripod leggings and a tripod sling, as well as this sort of landing base here. I'm not exactly sure what that thing is called in black multicam. It looks pretty cool. Now, the big thing here is this tripod is going to be way more steady than a lightweight hunting tripod. So it's always that game you play, like you're sacrificing stability for weight. And if you're carrying more weight, you gain more stability, but then, you know, you have to carry the tripod with you. So if you're looking for something lightweight, I would say go to a place that has them in stock, or ask a buddy if you can feel his, and actually put your rifle in there and, you know, feel what it feels like. It is also something that you can practice with. You know, you can, if you practice shooting out of a lightweight tripod, you can get pretty proficient. You know, I've shot rounds at, what was my first shot on the Eland, was out of the Radiant tripod. I think it was 370 or something like that, and it was on the money shooting out of a tripod. Like, if you practice it, you will become proficient at it. Obviously, you need a little bit of a plan when you go practice that, but you don't actually have to shoot. You can literally just dry fire out of your tripod, and that is something that I do before hunts, because lately it's been remarkable adding the tripod to my shooting sort of lineup. In fact, I could argue that shooting from a tripod has been the biggest game changer for me from a hunting perspective. And almost 90%, I would say, of the animals that I've harvested in the last, you know, 3-4 years have been shooting from a tripod. It's a game changer. You're able to, you know, either stand shooting, you're shooting over the bushes or the low grass. It's unreal, and it's so much more steady than shooting from those terrible shooting stick things that are like Wobble City. So yeah, I would say have a look around. If you're looking for something super lightweight, you want to use it mainly for glassing and maybe the occasional shot. You know, 90%, it depends on what kind of hunting you're doing. You're actually looking for the animals, and the actual shooting bit is such a small percentage. So something lightweight is probably the way to go. But for us, you know, we're carrying all the camera stuff. To add another big tripod really isn't the end of the world. But every now and again, it does get uncomfortable. So I'm really excited to add this Coltac sling to it with the tripod leggings, because it should make for, you know, carrying your tripod a little bit easier. That was a proper answer to that question. Could I link the G19s on my store? G19s are linked below, sir. Now my friend Ashraf asked, how's the beast of a cruiser coming along? If you don't know, I bought an FJ60, a 1984 FJ60 that needs a bit of love. And it's actually going in at the end of the month to have all the leather and the upholstery stuff done. So I'm super excited to see what that project comes out as. Now, if you don't know, I sold my wife's Porsche, gave her mine, and I basically went from driving a 2021 Porsche Cayenne S, freaking incredible motor vehicle, to driving a 1984 FJ60 Land Cruiser with no bells and whistles and nothing works in it. And I absolutely freaking love it. It's so cool. My wife actually chirped me the other day. She says, sweetheart, you've driven many cars in your life that makes you look very sexy. But this cruiser isn't one of them. So that was fun. Next question. What is next for you in competition shooting? Are you going all out on the long range stuff or positional stuff too? So exciting. My next match is very likely going to be an NRL Hunter match. I've never shot one of those. It's something that I think will very much suit my style of shooting. You know, I'm able to range targets effectively, relatively good with remembering my dope for somebody that's really bad at math and I can't spell, but I can remember dope. And I'm good at building positions quickly. So I think that format will suit my style of shooting. So I'm very, very excited and I hope to see you there. It should be fun. I think it's on the 26th next month. So it's about a month out. I need to sort out some things on my dash. I'm probably just going to shoot the open class because I don't have my 6.5 Creed yet. That must still come in. But I'm super excited on the 6.5 Creed specifically for that format. So in South Africa, there is this thing called load shedding where the government switches off your electricity for multiple hours every day. Now on that note, this question is basically just like, is it affecting how I make videos, how I work? Absolutely, it is affecting that. When I run the generator, I really can't record because it's loud in order to have the lights on. But the biggest thing for us has been, and probably everybody in South Africa feels this in a business sense, is, you know, we can't run big CNC machines off generators. So our sort of production for the tuners and our warbirds and stuff like that has taken a massive hit. Even some of the other project we're working on, you know, a lot of these processes can't be interrupted with a power outage, so we can't actually start those processes. So it has been tricky. So for anybody waiting on, you know, tuners or stuff like that, it's really difficult during load shedding to keep up with sort of the demand. So I apologize for that. We're doing the best we can. And trust me, the wait will be worth it. And yeah, load shedding sucks. Someone asked, how are my ears? Because the other day I cracked off around with no ear protection. They're pretty good at the moment. So next question, what's my favorite gun? I would have to say my favorite gun has to be at the moment is going to be Bella, my 6-dasher. She's amazing. The bolt is butter smooth. It's a bat machine, TR action with, I think there is a Krieger barrel on there. I've got some proof barrels coming for her, but that rifle is just an absolute little laser beam. Also a question on the cruiser, what model is it? It's a 1984 FJ60, and I asked what motor is in there. There's a 4-liter V8 1UZ Toyota motor in there, so it's relatively drifty. Fun fact, this is also one of the last Land Cruisers ever that was 2-wheel drive, and you have to manually put it into, it wasn't permanent 4-wheel drive. So my wife doesn't really like driving with me because I tend to drift a lot. It's so much fun. Obviously this is on closed roads. 6.5 PRC, 300 PRC or 7 PRC, which one? It depends a lot on what you want to do. If you want to do predominantly hunting, long range shooting, I would probably say between those, if split the difference and call it a 7 PRC. The problem is because it's so new, you're going to struggle to find components for it. I don't know where you're based. If you're based in the US, you'll probably be off to the races immediately. But for us here in South Africa, realistically, we'll start seeing 7 PRC rifles in about a year, probably. And we'd be lucky to have components for it in the next 12 months. So it depends where you are. But either way, 6.5 PRC is plenty capable. I mean, Skulk shot that blue Villabius of his at 520 meters or something, and it dropped in its tracks. The 6.5 PRC is very similar also to my 6.5 Sherman Magnum, which absolutely hammers. So if you're going to do hunting, I would say you could probably hunt anything in South Africa, except a buffalo. and an elephant with the 6.5 PRC. The sort of professional hunters might jump in here, but for the most part, if you're hunting antelope, you should be good to go with a 6.5 PRC. This next question is something I've been struggling with my whole life, and it sort of feels like something that I've kind of got under control. And I was actually chatting to a friend of mine about this last night. Would love to hear you talk more about how you manage your time. You must be fantastically busy. That's very true. I don't know whether I'm coming or going for the most part. My phone is constantly ringing. Our shop does incredibly well, and I want to thank every single one of you that has bought from us. For me, I'm very much a control freak, and I've always wanted to do as much as I can myself. But lately in my business, I've been able to find the right people to help me scale my business. But for the most part, let's focus on me now. If it's my to-do list for the day, like today, I've got a very defined to-do list. I need to knock out this video this morning, edit this video, shoot the thumbnail, do everything, get that on YouTube. I'm gonna try and get that done in the next couple of hours. Then I have a whole list of errands to run. And speaking of lists, I literally run a to-do list on my phone, and next to my computer inside my office, I've got a whiteboard where I'll have a whole column of video ideas, things to shoot, things that still needs editing, and I'll literally have little to-do lists. And there's nothing more satisfying to me than, you know, drawing a line through an item and just ticking things off the list. So a combination of lists, just focus and not being interrupted. So oftentimes I will put my phone literally on airplane mode. I think it's on airplane mode now. No, but it should be. No one will be able to contact me while I'm doing this, and I'm able to sort of get into that flow state, in the zone as we call it, and you're just able to tick so much more off your to-do list if you're not constantly interrupted. When I'm doing editing stuff and I really need to be efficient, I'll close my emails down, I'll close WhatsApp down, I'll close everything down that could potentially be a hindrance so that I can laser focus on what I need to achieve in that moment. Great question. Okay, this next question. Is it possible to be competitive in ELR and PRS with the 270 Winchester? No. 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 I don't like the 270 much. It's obviously a staple, you know. It's a 270 is going to kill kudu just as well as a 6.5 Creedmoor is going to kill a kudu. However, I'm going to do a complete video on the 270 Winchester, so stand by for that. That's Afrikaans word of the day. How to make your 270 Winchester sound fancy in Afrikaans. You actually say the numbers individually. 270. Awesome. That's going to be a fun video. Right, next question is about our tuners. Now, a couple of months ago, we released our Raptor tuner, which has been an incredible success, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. Again, we're a little bit behind on production because the bloody government keeps switching off our electricity. But the question is, which model fits the MDT comp brake? Now, if you guys don't know the MDT comp brake, here's a picture of it. It's a brand new brake from MDT. Some tuning stuff you can do on there. It's very cool. Now, we actually opened up our hole on the tuner a little bit that it will fit the MDT comp brake. So the standard tuner will fit the MDT comp brake and the elite brake for that matter. Any advantages to fluting a barrel? I got a Howa 6.5, just asking for the sake of it. Yes, there's many advantages to fluting a barrel. One of them being it's able to disperse heat because there's more surface area. There's also disadvantages to fluting a barrel. It heats up quicker because there's less metal to heat up. So, you know, it will lose heat quicker, but it will also gain heat quicker. So that's something to keep in mind. Something that I learned during my shooting journey from very competent people in the business, and that's something that's really cool with the YouTube channel, where I've been given access or gained access to the brightest minds in this industry. And something that's sort of a theme is everybody will say, don't flute a Howa, for example. There's nothing wrong with the Howa, but you really want your chamber cut after the flutes have been done. Okay, so all the fluting, the stress relief, and everything has been done at the factory. For example, you get a proof barrel that's pre-fluted, then the chamber gets cut. And that's something that's sort of a theme that everybody has spoken about when it comes to fluting. So keep that in mind. I did it obviously on my 20-inch Creedmoor build that was very new on the channel, or when the channel was very new, and that worked well. But yeah, results may vary, so keep that in mind. Which bullet would you recommend for shooting steel out to 1,000 meters? 6.5 centimeter. I think you mean 6.5 millimeter. Otherwise, you've got a gigantic rifle. At the moment, bullets you can find. I wouldn't go for a 6 centimeter. You didn't mean centimeter. I'm being a chop. You meant cm for a Creedmoor. I got you. Sorry, I was being doof. Bullets you can find. You're obviously based in South Africa. At the moment, there are slim pickings. I was chatting to a friend of mine. You know, a lot of people shoot 140 grain ELDMs. I wouldn't go too heavy. I wouldn't go the 147 route. In the Creedmoor, the case is just too small for that bullet, I believe. Even though some people get really good results, it's too heavy for my liking, personal opinion. Anything you can find with a relatively good BC and a consistent BC. If you're wanting to go to 1,000 meters, I would look at something like a Berger VLD, a 6.5, 140 grain VLD. Even if you're going to do some hunting with it, if you take the VLD hunt bullet, it'll give you really good results when you're hunting, because it has for me in the past. I know some people have also had bad luck with those bullets. Results may vary. Again, you know, you're shooting at an animal, he might be facing you slightly different. You're hitting a piece of bone, the other guy's not. Things are different. So it's very difficult to sort of judge those on an individual basis. Anyway, those 140 grain VLD bullets make really good match bullets, and they make really good hunting bullets. But at the moment, you buy what you can find, because components-wise, there's not a lot available in the market, unfortunately. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Pete, what are your thoughts on a 300 Win Mag? I think the 300 Win Mag is an awesome cartridge. It's a very old cartridge, but it has stuck with the times, especially if you've got a longer free bore. You know, if you're doing a custom 300 Win Mag, I probably wouldn't do one now, just because there's stuff like the 300 PRC. There is a little bit more efficient cases with SAMI specs. But if you've got a 300 Win Mag, if you've got the right twist barrel on, and you can shoot 220 grain to 245s, I know some guys shooting those heavier projectiles at proper speeds, making them very competitive long-range rifles. So I love the 300 Win Mag. I think it's an awesome cartridge. So 30-06 or 308, that's literally the question. So I want you guys, if you ask questions in the future, give a little bit more context if you can. I know obviously the format is a little bit short on Instagram, but it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to hunt? Do you want to shoot matches? Combination of the two. But if I had to choose, I'd go 308, 100%. What cameras do you use to take your pictures? So I've got this camera, which is my A camera, which is a Canon R5, and then I've also got this EOS R. So both of these are mirrorless cameras. They're a little bit smaller. This is a fantastic camera. In the near future, I would like to sell this EOS R and get another R5. I prefer this camera over that camera. This is a newer model, and it's substantially more expensive. So anybody need a liver or something? What is a good caliber for a new shooter for PRS and hunting? And then 6.5 PRC question mark. The 6.5 PRC is going to be too much, even though the PRC, I don't know if you guys knew this, but it stands for Precision Rifle Cartridge. It's too much recoil to deal with when you're shooting, you know, a positional style match. It's just too much recoil, especially when you consider some of these matches, you're shooting 80 to 100 rounds a day. You're going to be beat up at the end, even if you're running a heavy rifle with a muzzle brake. So Magnum, it's a lot of powder to burn, and you don't gain that much over something like a 6.5 Creed. Now, having said that, with a 6.5 Creedmoor, you can shoot matches all day, recoil's minimal, and you can hunt up to kudos with it with great success. It's all about shot placement that I found with hunting. I had a funny comment the other day, and perhaps I need to make a video with just reading dodgy comments, but a guy was like, "You're trophy hunting and you're shooting the animals in the head." And I was like, any trophy hunter would never shoot an animal in the head, because there's nothing left of the head, which is the trophy. But, you know, you're arguing with people that don't understand what we do. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Wow, overexposed much. This has been a fun video for me to make. I really appreciate your questions, and I really enjoy giving some feedback to you guys on your questions. So thank you very much. Apologies if I didn't get to your question. There are a lot to get through, but you know, otherwise this video is going to be, goodness gracious, the video is already going to be long. Okay, see you guys in the next one. Be kind to one another. Have lekker time when you go out shooting. Also, thank you to Modular Driven Technologies for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for a chassis system for your next precision rifle, you know, you want to kit out a hunting rifle, perhaps you've got that old 270 that you want to bring new life into. I want you to take that old 270 and sell it, and then buy a 6.5 Creedmoor and drop it into an XRS. Sorry, couldn't help myself. By the way, Behind me, you'll see my Hauer 300 PRC. I mentioned that I was going to shoot Peterson cases in that. I've actually found some Lapua cases, so I'm going to do Lapua cases, and I've got the chassis for it too. There's the MDT box. What chassis do you guys think I'm going to drop the Hauer 300 PRC in? Now, I'm going to give you a hint. It's not an XRS, because somebody commented on that video, Pete, you should drop it into an XRS. Unfortunately, MDT do not make a long action Hauer XRS, because that would have been the chassis that I would have liked to put it in to keep it sort of more a budget friendly build. Anyway, excited to see where that project goes. Guys, thank you very much again for your questions. This is always fun. It honestly feels to me like, you know, we're China's, because I like talking like this is you guys. Okay, cool.